Welcome back to Behind the Hero. Tonight's heroes are the duo who recently restored peace and order to our galaxy, Ratchet and Clank. So, gentlemen, tell us about your latest incredible adventures.
Well, as you can imagine, we've been pretty busy. After Drek's defeat, there were parades, press conferences, fancy dress balls.
And the wiener roast at Al's.
Oh, yeah, that. And then things started to slow down a bit. After that, well...
There was the grand opening at Groovy Lube.
Right. I think that was last week.
6 months ago.
We're still pretty busy, but in a more, domestic sense.
Yesterday, I flushed out my radiator core.
I guess no one needs a hero right now.
Miss Noodlebottom, I found our man. Welcome.
What the...
I'm Abercrombie Fizzwidget, founder of the Megacorp Company and the Bogon Galaxy.
Bogon?
I'm sorry to incapacitate you, but our entire galaxy is in a very precocious situation. I must humbly request your sustenance on a mission of dire urgitude, a mission of superfluous peril, a mission of unequivocal imperitude.
Did that make any sense?
So, you need me to go on a dangerous mission in another galaxy.
Indubitably. A few days ago, this top-secret biological experiment was stolen from our testing laboratory by this dupliferous criminal mastermind, and I need you to get the experiment back.
We'll do it!
We will?
Frank, I have precipitated your recalcitrance and have made special improvisations for you. We are prepared to give you a job as the head accountant for Megacorp, plus a penthouse suite in lovely Megapolis, and our state-of-the-art robotic masseuse.
Deal.
As for you, Ratchet, I'll need you in superlatory shape. While in transit to the Bogon Galaxy, you will undergo heavy training and conditioning, including martial arts, heavy weaponry, survival skills, stealth, macrame, ballroom dance, and origami. We've used bipolar vector regurgitation to track the thief's location to a flying base in Sector 7. Infiltrate the base and retrieve the experiment.
Sir, ready for launch. Ratchet reporting. I'm on final approach to coordinates 37 Alpha.
Good luck. I'm counting on you.
Affirmative. Beginning radio silence.
Ratchet and Clank 2 walkthrough. So this is Planet Aranos, the first planet that we will be doing in Ratchet and Clank 2 going Commando. That's kind of weird because a lot of the achievements say this is named Ratchet and Clank 2, but the title of the game is just Ratchet and Clank going Commando with the number 2 kind of in the background. And I don't know why games are so against numbering their sequels. I mean, you get Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, and then we get Mass Effect Andromeda. Why not Mass Effect 4? Maybe it's Mass Effect 4 Andromeda, I don't know, but maybe to those people it's like, it's not actually Mass Effect 4 because Shepard's not in it, I don't know. I mean, with Assassin's Creed, you get like Assassin's Creed, then 1, and then, or Assassin's Creed 2, and then like 3 Black Flag, I don't even know with Assassin's Creed, and Final Fantasy is even worse, but anyway, so as far as this game goes, I think it's way better than the first one, and it's pretty much twice as good in every single aspect. There's probably twice as many weapons, you can have 10 times as much health, and the story is a little bit funnier, the characters are a little bit, I feel they're a little bit better in this one, and it's harder, the weapons are cooler, and it's longer. It took me about 6 hours to finally beat the first Ratchet and Clank. I think it was about 6 anyway, maybe it was 7. But this game took me about 12. Now, one issue with that is that there's a ton of grinding in this game, especially near the end. And as I said, you can have so much more health in this game than you can in the first one. In the first one, your health limit was about 8. But in this one, you can have upwards 50, 60 nanotech, and maybe you can even go up to 80, or I have no idea what the limit is because I haven't reached it, if there is one. And what's annoying is that the enemies, especially later on in the game, are still going to be evil. They are going to kill you in 4 or 5 hits, even if you have that much nanotech. And armor upgrades become extremely important, but we're not going to be running into them for an extremely long time, so you still kind of got to play carefully, take things a little bit back, kind of stay back and take out enemies from afar if possible, but it's also a lot more active of a game because jumping, strafing, all of that plays a way larger role than it did in the first Ratchet and Clank.
I see it's time to update my security forces.
Whoa, no, hey, no, look, I'm just here to fix the transflexor coil.
Nice try. Give my regards to Megacorp. Finish him.
Now, as I've been talking over the first part of this world, there's not really a whole lot that goes wrong, and as we've seen, we don't actually have Clank yet. And, well, I guess there's a lot that goes wrong, but there's not really a whole lot to talk about. So, you do start out with 4 nanotech, and initially you're only going to be taking 1 nanotech of damage from anybody. And these enemies are not too difficult. They can be kind of annoying, but they just kind of throw fire at you and then punch you. If anything gets too close, it's just gonna hurt. So it is best to put distance between you and the enemy, and that's pretty much been true for this trilogy of Ratchet and Clank games. And then once you're outside here, you're gonna notice that we'll be using a couple of weapons that can actually level up, and I'll be talking more about that after this next cutscene. But the leveling up weapons is pretty cool, and you can get some pretty strong ones that way.
Thugs for less. If it ain't broke, we'll break it.
Right. I'm in the market for some security.
You bring the cash, we'll bring the thrash.
Good. I need your best men to meet me at these coordinates.
So the kind of weapons I'll be using aren't actually these ones that are at the start, and that's kind of a bad thing because the bomb weapon that we get upgrades to a nuke weapon, and that weapon is extremely powerful, and there's a lot of times that I actually got stuck while playing through this game and forgot about that weapon entirely. I was trying to use other weapons that weren't nearly as effective, and even though I did get through it, it would have been easier if I had remembered that I had the nuke weapon. But the Lancer, which I think it's called the Lancer, that first kind of automatic gun you get, it's really good at the start of the game, and once it upgrades, it's pretty good for a little while, but then enemies are going to start taking so much damage. It's only good against enemies it'll only be good against vast amounts of enemies that die in one hit, and we will be running into that quite often, but there's going to be way more often that we'll run into enemies with tons and tons of armor, and this weapon you're just gonna use up all your ammo trying to take out one plate of their armor. And that can be really annoying because it's almost just unnecessarily annoying trying to take out some enemy when you have fully upgraded weapons and you have like 50 nanotech and the second best armor, and you're still having a hard time taking out a few of the enemies and you're still dying in a couple of hits. That can get a little bit aggravating, but luckily there's not really many worlds in this game that are so difficult that I hated them. There was one that took me forever to get past, but for some reason it was only that one, and in the first Ratchet and Clank there were probably 2 or 3 I could say that too. Well, anyway, that's enough rambling for this video. The level is going to end once this cutscene kicks in, and that's it for this part.
Ratchet checking in, sir.
Incredulous. I didn't expect to hear from you again. So soon.
There was a slight problem. The thief escaped with the experiment, and I have no idea where he was headed.
Not to worry. I just received an emission which may lubricate the matter.
Do you have any maps for this quadrant of the galaxy?
You bet, mister! We got galactic maps, 3D maps, fold-outs, cutouts, maps to the stars, and their homes.
Sorry about that. Oh, I forgot my wallet. Could you take care of this?
Perimeter defenses deactivated.
You forgot your change.
I'm on my way.